No, your eyes aren't deceiving you. This fic is actually for rare. We actually have a short story on the show. Discovery. First thing Shirley noticed as she slowly regained awareness was a throbbing ache in the side of her jaw. The second thing she noticed was that she was at the draft, easy enough to discern where she was. Given hardly the first time she'd woken up in the hospital after an altercation. The last was a hazy fog from her mind. Shirley tried to recall the last thing that had happened. As a third fact, she wasn't alone. She was at her bedside, looking sufficiently concerned as to have brought both of her normally skewed eyes into briefly focused alignment. Did it all click? Shirley couldn't help but laugh out loud at the absurdity. At least, until the pain inside her face protested. Ow! Tracy sure wasn't kidding. You really do pick on mean sucker punts. Maybe Mac and I should have let you tag along to help mop the floor with those Manhattan gangbusters. Shirley tried to finish with a chuckle, but stopped short, clutching again at her still aching jaw.
This isn't funny, Charlie.
Dizzy said, frowning.
You could have been seriously hurt. It would have all been my fault.
Don't be so hard on yourself. It was more my fault than anybody's, really. Like I always tell my students before a nature hike, never provoke a mama bear. With a carefree wave of her love, Shirley added, Besides, I've taken worse bumps running with my old gang back before I settled down as a teacher. Other than the splitting pain in my jaw, I feel surprisingly refreshed. Guess maybe I needed the extra nap more than I thought.
I'd hardly call 16 hours a nap. When I couldn't wake you up, the first thing I did was rush you out to find Nurse Redheart. I was so worried, even after we moved you to the hospital. The doctor said you were just suffering from extreme sleep deprivation.
Okay, as basically embarrassing as it is to admit, it used to be, I can't anymore. More sleep from now on. Kinda steal.
No,
Dizzy seemed to be able to.
no, King. This is more than just you spending way too many late nights rewriting endless contingency plans. It's about what caused you to become so
Obsessed! Shirley retorted, with frustrating dignity. Safe. Dizzy opened her mouth to retort, but paused before letting out a weary sigh.
I mean, when you put it that way, but, well,
She reached over to a small stack beside her, holding up one notebook in particular.
specifically the ones about corralling all of us into this whole heroes of horror mess.
Shirley stared wide-eyed. Dizzy, you can't send me to that tyrant. Dizzy,
Does sound pretty crazy, doesn't it? But I think that's kind of the point. Before she was Corona, Celestia was the guardian of peace and prosperity over all Equestria. But other time, she just wanted to protect every pony too, until she took that desire to keep every pony safe too far.
sighed again. Dizzy took a deep, steadying breath.
She's sort of like an overprotective mother in that way, I suppose. No wonder she could come across as so arrogant and uncompromising. Compared to the immortal century she's lived, all of us, we must be like less than fools to her. But still, her responsibility all the same. And as a mother myself, I know what that's like too personally. I used to think to myself, if I really had that kind of power, if I could turn the world into a perfect place where nothing could hurt my little thinking, just how far would I go to make it a reality?
Dizzy, Shirley muttered, trying to find words of comfort.
No, it's okay, because I'm not Corona. Because I haven't lost sight of what truly matters most to me. Because I still see the ponies around me as individuals with all hopes and dreams of my own. Because my heart is full of kindness, my own virtue of harmony. The princess has wielded these virtues together before us, and it empowers them to do great better between the two of them all those centuries ago. We must hold on to each other and to ourselves, or else we might lose those virtues that tie us all together.
Shirley turned her head downcast. You make it sound so easy, Dizzy. Well, what does that make me? My virtue is laughter. Is that all I'm really good for? Am I supposed to are? His head. Lifting it up so their gaze met, forcing her own eyes to align focus to emphasize the point.
Elements of harmony aren't that simple. They go by many names before the ones we call them the cloud all day. You have to the logic, Charlie. You define it for yourself, just like how I define my own kindness.
Apples!
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
Dizzy smiled and boot Shirley in the nose.
Means not a clown, and certainly not a drill sergeant, for example, and it encourages the rest of us to be our.
There was a long silent pause. Standing in the doorway was a caramel-coated and chocolate-made unicorn part. I was supposed to pains me to intrude on this touchy moment, but says to pay a proper exam, just to make sure everything is okay.
Oh, Dr. Steeble, of course. Ditsy replied. I just saw myself out then. But, Caroline, don't think about what I said.
Paused and sighed. You're giving me an awful lot to think about, I promise. Ditsy nodded. Question I gathered again. None of the Oscars of Trixie recovered Lyra also in line. Trixie leaned over to Ditsy. You're sure? Ditsy shrugged. We'll find out soon enough. Wondering what special training exercises again. I can't see any. Carrot Top knows making him nod. Chili, what the rest of the class? Carrot Top looked under the mayor's overbearing gaze. It Shirley got directly in your face. No, sir. No, ma'am. Shirley. The thickest sanitation strikes out before. Boop! Shirley exclaimed, tapping your friend playfully on the nose. Like that, too. Wait, so you're ultimate mad at me? No. Only mad at myself for driving you to the edge of a nervous wreck in the first place. Well, I only got myself to blame for that. Fortunately, a very wise pony reminded me who I really am. Who we all are. We might be heroes, knights even, but the weight of this whole nation of what have been soldiers. The great and powerful Trixie was always extraordinary, long before she became a hero. The extraordinary love and Trixie shared a brief giggle. Any lingering tension, Shirley spoke up again. Extraordinary in our own unique ways. But not just heroes, but friends. And friends, a bit more literally for the six of us. But still friends first if we got any fancy Trixie requires senses, and we can forget all these. No, or rather, yes, I've come to my senses, but we still need to train. There was a collective groan from the other four of the five other mayors. Only Dizzy keep me silent, or knights were no less pleading. Now, hear me out first. Yes, we need to keep training both physically and mentally, so we can be ready together. And that's the part I've been forgetting. Six of us are all in this together, and it's our responsibility to look out for each other. Not just to also make sure no part, and maybe most of all. So no more bugle call wake-up calls? Asked Raindrops. I don't know, Shirley replied sadly. I spent an awful lot of money on that bugle, and I still never got to catch Trixie oversleeping with it. Alright, you can still use it to wake Trixie's hate, both of you. Trixie said, sticking her tongue out of surgery intonation. I love you too. Shirley said, sticking her own tongue out teasingly. Well, on to the matter at hand, and why I had all of you meet me here at the train station. Today's training mission is have fun. To emphasize her point, Shirley held up one hoof, fending out a set of tickets. 5 pairs of eyes blinked silently. The Barn Hay Bell Circus. Really? Does he think we're kind of old because? Yep, I'm quite serious. Deadly serious, you might say. Shirley paused, stretching out a single bated breath before she burst out laughing. Come on, girls. Now listen up. That's the lesson of the day. Well, that and one more thing. What is that? It's not about the six of us having fun. It's about sharing in the fun of everybody else, reminding ourselves of what it is we're fighting to protect. Shirley paused, taking a moment to look between each of her friends. And I'd like to think that's something we all can agree on. The other five looked back and forth with each other. One by one, 4 heads nodded in turn. But from one point, that wasn't quite good enough. Heck yeah! Lyra exclaimed. Come noon or high water, we 6 amigos stick together. She reared back to emphasize her point, standing tall on her hind legs, one forehoof held skyward. Unfortunately, the mood was all too quickly spoiled by suspicious exclamations Lyra clutched her back. Ow! Guess I'm not 100% again yet. Then a few chuckles were shared, even as Carrot Top offered to mix up the ointment to help Lyra feel better. Shirley smiled to herself as she was chatting up on their day trip. Turning to one friend that remained, he asked, Did I live up to your expectations? Ditsy shook her head with a smile. It was never mine or anybody else's expectation. You had to live up to in the first. The old believe me in the right version. I forget. At least I know there's one pony who could literally knock the sense back to me. So I had to hit any pony ever again. You the yard the bad guys were saying. I could have used some pony other than Raindrops to spar with. Shirley gave Ditsy a painful push and across the sword before adding, Maybe I could oppose and you help me with something else. Oh? Like I said, there means more research to be done and plans to be made. I could use a study buddy, work, and help her sigh. Maybe. You don't mind defining. I don't know. Shirley hesitated a little cheery. The books don't exactly get along all that well.
Bugle. He's a Bugle.
Shared another lane by the blowing of a train whistle. Already ready to board up. Just that. May you enjoy being in a world where no shadows fall. Review time! This episode was pretty fun. Though not without some complaints. I feel like we kind of missed the mark switching our rooms here thing. I mean, while it was a good setup for that Charlie was going more and more insane, I do feel kind of down that. Oh, sure. We got to see Carrot Top visit Trixie's house. We got to see Lyra fighting raindrops. And we got to see Dizzy fighting Charlie's books. That was all well and good. I would kind of like to see the others. And then we find out some cool things. Silly like raindrops having a sweet tooth and being stuck in Bonbon's place. Or Trixie messing up with Carrot Top's place or getting confused by all the main treatment. Or did, or even Cheerly having to deal with falling asleep while trying to take care of Dinky. I'm just saying I would love to have a little bit more of this, so that way it'll be a lot more fun. My other complaint is that I feel like we jumped too soon to Cheerly's whole entire insanity. It's like, everybody was okay when she was just training them. But then, the moment Jitsi said, hey, you should be like a teacher, it was instantaneous. We're having soup, and immediately her and Sandy went over the top. And while the pop quiz gags were fun, kind of wish it was a little more slow building. Like, instead of Jitsi telling her and giving her this bit of advice, then kicking off the insanity, we would have started off with a simple obstacle course, then made it more complicated, and then even more complicated, and then once Charlie sees that they're getting tired, figures that they need something to keep them going, then the pop quizzes. I don't know, I guess I didn't want Disney to be the pure instigator of it all. Something that would naturally. That being said, the jokes were on point. And then the fact that we got to see that Charlie could be just as insane as Twilight when it came to overprotect. I like to see and how much Disney really doesn't like to punch. Just a fun little episode. Next time, though, we're going to bring out some Water D action as a couple of one-shots to have some fun and maybe deal with an annoying little spike treatment that I really hate.